the old D.W. Griffith's, the site of Griffith's Biograph studio.
Oh, really?
It's right out his office. He didn't know that. He couldn't tear himself away from the window after I told him that.
But, you didn't know him?
I've met him, through an interview. I guess so much too has been written about James Dean, and of course you and he were very close. What kind of influence did he have on your life?
Well, every time I smoke a cigarette too short, I think of him. I know this is he says, "Boy, you really short." He says, "You really smoke your cigarettes short." I mean, I don't know. I do think of that. He had a big influence on my life. Get down, and I saw a man act that I thought I was really. I thought that I was one of the best actors in the world when I was 18, 19 years old, or on the way to being, And watching him on Rebel Without a Cause, I just, he was doing things that were so far over my head that I couldn't even comprehend him. I threw him into a car on the Chicky Run. I grabbed him, threw him into a car, and I said, "You got to tell me what you're doing, because I don't understand what you're doing." I said, "Should I go to New York and study, at the actor's studio? What should I do?" And he said, "Don't go to New York and study." All right. He said, He said, "Just do it. Do it, don't show it." That's what do you mean, do it, don't show it? He said, well, if you're smoking a cigarette, don't act smoking a cigarette, just smoke the cigarette when you feel like it, right? And he said, just the simplest things will become very difficult, but just do them, don't show them. He said, if somebody opens the door and you turn and look, and they got a gun in their hand, well, you may get up and make a joke out of your line of "You're scaring the hell of me. What are you doing here?" And but you got to see the guy. You got to see the guy, and you got to see the gun, and then you got to react, however that is. And it doesn't have to be the same every time. You can say that a lot of different ways. But first thing is you got to hear the door. Door opens. Guy's got a gun. And you could say to the guy, "You're scaring the hell out of me." I mean, however it comes out, that's not, to be supposed how, you're going to react to it. So to do something, not to show it, all right? He said at first the simplest things, like smoking a cigarette or drinking a cup of coffee, will become very difficult. And he said, then pretty soon you forget about it. Things will start happening. He said, then if you, okay, so he gave me little advice, little tips like that. He said, another one, he said, everybody tries to think that, okay, I'm alone in a room, right? But, in point of fact, I'm not alone in a room, even though it says in the script I'm alone in a room, because there's a woman sitting over there, there's two men here, one sitting, one asking me questions, and one I'm directing or whatever, and one with the camera and the sound, and there's a guy in the lights, and there's somebody ticking down if I'm matching this shot, because I just smoked a cigarette. So I'm not really alone in this room. But until I can accept the fact that there are other people in this room, until I accept that as a reality, there is a camera here, and I'm not alone in this room, and I can, then there's a possibility of me being alone in this room. Or for example, let's say that there's a script girl writing down to match, okay, I just took a drag off this cigarette, okay? I'm talking to you. She wrote down, I took a drag off this cigarette. That means when they come around and do my over the shoulder, I just put my hand over here. Then not only am I going to have to match this, but I'm going to have to match this too. Now I've done it twice. But I'm talking about, do you know what the weather's like outside? It's snowing. Or, it's snowing. The plane's not going to be able to come in. the deal's off. Now you know what that means, don't you? Don't you? She just wrote down that I'm pointing at you. I mean, it's using a simple reality that, like, you know, that you can find humorous, and you can even look at her, because, like, I mean, we're in a restaurant. You can look at her, you can look at him, you can look at her, you can look over there, you can look wherever you want. I mean, people don't know what you're looking at, but I'm saying you use that. I did that. Now that can be, depending upon what kind of scene it is, whether I'm angry at you, or whether I'm, you know, explaining something to you, or whether I find it humorous that everything I'm doing, now I have to, like, you know, reproduce this again, because they're going to do the two shot and the master shot and the close-ups and so on, and match this. You can take that in a humorous way, but that's a simple reality. And to come and say, you say hello to somebody, and they go, screw you. You go, oh, wait a second. I mean, it's just moment-to-moment reality. There were simple things that he taught me that were very valuable. But one of the most valuable was to be able to use what's around you, that rather than, like, you know, shutting out, okay, I'm now alone, or like we are now in a restaurant, or we're videoing this, and that's what it is, and that's the reality of it. And thank God I don't have to match any of this. Wardrobe, makeup, but anyway, those things I learned a lot from.
There's really kind of technical things that really apply to film acting as opposed to...
Well, but then after Dean died, I came and studied with Strasberg. And Strasberg used to have us on the stage, and he would say, look at us, because we're real and you're real. We're real and you're real. And so it's not that much different than stage acting. You have to accept the fact that there is an audience out there, that you are on a stage, before you can get into any kind of reality at all. I mean, it's the old story of the drunk coming in the middle of a performance and trying to find his seat, you know, or whatever. And if you're doing a comedy, I mean, you can use that as a humorous thing rather than letting it stop your performance and bother you. You can use that. If you're in a tragedy, you can use that guy's coming in here, and then he's in and he's screwing up my performance, and he's doing that. But you're not saying that. You're Biff and Death of a Salesman or whatever, I don't know, and you're saying those lines. But there's still a drunk out there that's coming in here, and then, you know, and you use that in some way. So it's not the difference. The difference is accepting the reality of the circumstance of where you are, because you're an imaginary given circumstance anyway if you're acting. And it's just learning to use the reality of what's going on around you to help reinforce you rather than to hinder you.